Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and in a move that surprises nobody and makes complete sense, hopefully you saw this coming because I certainly did. Wizards just announced today that they are permanently discontinuing Eternal Masters and Modern Masters. You are never going to see another product called that. So basically, to follow the timeline that they outlined to give like a history of why the product was created, the whole Masters series, you start with Modern Masters where they were just like, okay, we need to reprint some cards. Modern's getting out of control. Nobody can afford to play it. Which is, by the way, still true and they didn't solve anything, which is why now they're like, okay, we're not achieving our goal. Like, we're making money and people buy this, but we're not printing enough. We're not flooding the market enough to suppress the prices on these singles to make Modern playable. And I know they want people to play Standard, but whatever, if they're going to play Modern, they're going to play Modern, at least make some money that way. And why should the secondary market have to, make all the money that way? And plus, everybody knows that ever since like RTR, you don't sit on a sealed box of anything anymore. And then if a card went from $1 to $20, why shouldn't Wizards be the one to make money on that? Look at a lot of the giant single sellers online. They're douchebags. They're dishonest, lying, scamming douchebags. Why should they be allowed to make all the money? So everyone's like, oh, Wizards just wants money. Yeah, they want money for their own game, for their own product. The hell's wrong with that? So MM1 was actually called Project Picasso because they like to nickname things. Now, it wasn't really a new concept because online, while Magic Online was invented after Paper Magic and people needed the old cards to play old formats. So unless they're going to reprint them all in Standard, which they were certainly not going to do, they had what they just called, the Masters series. It was like the exact same thing. So this was not a new concept. It was just, oh, here, have a whole bunch of staples from this set. So they're like, hey, I know Paper Magic, you can go get paper versions because they exist, unlike Magic Online where the cards didn't exist, you couldn't buy them. They were just like, yeah, people would pay money for this. Like, this card's been going up and up and up and up and up, and if that continues, nobody's going to be able to afford to play. And, wonderful for the people holding cards from 10 years ago, but that's the minority of people by far. So MM1 sold so well that I heard that Wizards was pissed. They were pissed because those boxes were going for what, like triple their MSRP or even higher, I think. I honestly think that they didn't do the math on this, or they just really thought it wouldn't be well received to have it be like $240 a box. Now, for the record, there's been a lot of misinformation about this. They were $6.99 a pack. That was the MSRP of them. Like, they knew what value they were putting in, and then they divided by the number and the rarity slot, and they're like, oh, that's a lot of money, and then they raised the price. Duh. But you're getting more for your money. It made sense. So Modern Masters 1 ended up focusing on the absolute oldest sets, the furthest away time-wise that were released, so that they weren't stomping on anybody's toes for cards that they had opened relatively recently. And then interestingly enough, for MM2 in 2015, they said that they wanted to not go past Alara Reborn. I think they did. I think it even says later in the article that they ended up picking up obviously Zendikar and Scars of Mirrodin as well. I don't remember if they were before or after Alara. I feel like it was later. But they said that was just for draft, just for cross-block synergy, as they called it, so that, it wouldn't just be a bunch of crap that didn't go together. So that's the whole, give people two reasons to buy your product instead of just one. Now they can draft it, and it contains lots of value in cards that they need. So apparently the one after that, which was Eternal Masters, their whole idea behind that was people in the community were constantly telling them, they were given feedback saying, we need cards outside of just Modern. Commander especially, and then Legacy and Vintage to a lesser extent because, not a whole lot of people play those formats. Oh, by the way they put it was there's three groups of people who are the primary audiences for these Masters sets. First, the people that want individual cards because, they weren't playing back then, traded them away, whatever. They need singles and they're not thrilled with the prices. Second is the people who enjoy the draft experience of the set because it is designed very specifically and particularly to be drafted. And third, an overlap of both. That's not how that works. I'm not convinced they have a marketing department. I'm just not. I've never seen evidence that they have competent marketing people working there. Then there's the most idiotic sentence I've heard in this entire announcement. As it turns out, there are a lot of people in the second and third camps. That isn't to say that the first group is minuscule, far from it. But as we had learned by this point, the draft environments were crucial to the set. Okay, do you not know who buys and opens your own damn product? Because it's bulk single sellers, which open about 95% of it, I would say, 5% draft. tops. I mean, absolute tops. When you're drafting, you only buy 3 boosters. So I wouldn't be catering to them that hard. Like, oh, should we put in this valuable card or should we put in one that's more fair and appropriate and has synergy for draft? Put in the value if you want to sell the damn product. Because at the end of the day, you want to sell the product, right? This explains why some master sets were a disaster and some reprint sets like Conspiracy were a disaster and some succeeded. So they made the actual word-for-word statement that players want cards for more than just Modern. They want them for Commander and Legacy and Canadian Highlander and whatever other formats they love to play. And frankly, we want to be able to get you these cards. There you go. Black and white evidence that they're like, okay, this card hit so much damn money, nobody can afford to buy it. They're really hard to find. We just want people to be able to play whatever they want to play. If they want a card that has been printed in the last 24 and a half-ish years, then they should be able to get that. If the side effect of that is Wizards rakes in a bunch of money, then win-win. I mean, that's why I don't think anybody's really got their undies in a bundle, unless they're completely clueless about the whole, oh, now there's 2 master sets per year. If you ask me, 3 would be the appropriate number. There should not be one card in the entire game that's non-foil, that's like a, not like a limited like judge promo, none of that, but just there shouldn't be a card above $20. Because if you need one of them, that's rough. If you need 4, that's terrible. As soon as you got cards at like 80, that drives so many people away from the game that people just, it prices them out. They can't play the game and they go do something else. And that is stupid. So if Wizards reprints a card, a single, in a set, and people buy that set until it goes from 80 to 70 to 60 all the way down to 20, we'll say they made all that money because they sold them the boxes. Now, they didn't directly sell them the singles, but they sold the boxes and other people opened them and sold them until they hit a barely profitable number. So that's why, here's how the math works with this. I've said this before and people just still don't get it, which, I mean, this is like 5th grade math, people. If you want most of the cards, like all the important cards in your master's set to get cut in half in value, okay? So you want the affordability to, I guess you would say, double. So your $70 cards, you're targeting 35, and, your $80 cards, you're targeting 40. So if that's what they're trying to do, then they're going to have to put in a box EV of roughly $400. So if they put in, all the rares and mythics and I guess foil return, expected value is 400 current market price, then people are going to open the boxes until the singles on average return 200. Because if they're paying, between 130 and 150 typically for these boxes, then you get, shipping and fees, eBay, whatever, top loaders, sleeves, envelopes, staff time. That's about the other 50. So, at 200, they're going to stop. But then, okay, the EV was 400, now it's 200, so the cards got cut in half just about. Now, it doesn't quite work that way. Like, Tarmogoyf is not going to get cut in half, and cards that were $6 are now $1 because they just weren't in that high of demand. So the whole demand isn't equal thing means that they're not going to fall equally. But what does hold true is if they put $700 expected value worth of singles in all of these sets, or in one given set, this example set, what would that do? About 60-70% reduction in EV, because still people are going to open them until Wizards doesn't print enough until they're out, or until we hit about 200 EV. And if that happens, then they, devalued the whole set as a whole by that much. So the singles in it are devalued by approximately that much, give or take. So, okay, you're in Wizards' shoes and you realize that that's how the math works, which, I mean, how could they not? Like, I'll give them that much credit. I'll assume they know how that math works. Do you, A, release one master set per year with $700 worth of cards in it to just devalue everything and make everything affordable and make, LGSs happy and everything? And then the secondary market eats up most of the difference in the meantime because, Wizards will sell them for, 80 a box to the distributor or whatever, and that's that. So even if it's worth 700, they don't get more than 80. But they could sell a higher volume of boxes, so, it's not the end of the world. And then you got people fighting over it and people not getting enough and people faking secondary locations with fake WPN numbers and people ordering from 6 different distributors and saying that all the other ones shorted them so they need more, and just all the manipulation and crooked crap that goes on right now anyway. Or do you introduce 2 master sets, and we'll just say they have 250 unique cards in it. I know it's plus or minus a couple, but okay, add them together, 500. So now you got 500 reprints instead of 250 reprints for cards that there's probably 2,000 out there that badly need a reprint. Well, maybe if you stick to just the rares and mythics, it's a little bit lower number, but it's a lot. Okay, so you do that and then you just make the box EV about, $350 on release day. Well, there you go. $350, devalue them, $350, devalue them, and you targeted more cards. It seems like the logical choice to me. Also, why have Eternal Masters and why have Modern Masters? Why not just print something with a different theme that is Modern Staples and Eternal Staples? Because if you're only going to do 2 sets per year, what if you just completely skip over Commander Staples for both of them? Or even one of them, then people got to wait another 6 months to get the card they need. People aren't going to wait forever, okay? They're leaving the game. So they are announcing that instead of being focused on formats, they're going to be focused on themes. Now, when they say that, I think it's heavily implied based on everything they said in the past that they mean themes as far as mechanics and synergy for drafting, not just cards with, I don't know, animals on them. It's Animal Masters, everybody. Like, what would that do for the draft environment? They said they very heavily designed these after the draft environment. So it's going to be probably like, Enter the Battlefield Masters or something. I doubt they would actually name it that, but they would name it whatever, some dumb thing, Human Masters, or I don't know. They're actually, the naming is going to be the hardest part with this, if you think about it. Iconic and Masters 25 are basically the same thing, and both of those are very time sensitive. So they might just call it Iconic Masters forever. I mean, I don't think that this article actually specified. I actually feel like that's what they'll do, is that it'll just be Iconic Masters 2, Iconic Masters 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But remember, that name doesn't have a very good reputation attached to it. So anyway, that aside, I think it will probably continue to be, block specific, where they're like, oh, it's going to be heavily reprints from this, and this blocks. But mostly just because that's where the mechanics are, like the mechanics that work with each other. Like if they want to do something with Devotion, which, it might be a little early for that, and not that many people play Devotion in a lot of stuff. But then they would say, okay, Theros block is going to be in there, and they're just going to mention Devotion a whole bunch. But it's actually, it's not that hard to draft monocolor, but it's not like really a great idea unless you have a good reason, which would be Devotion. So that just seems like a really bad example and a bad idea. But they could call it Color Masters or Mono Masters or something like that, and just push nothing but single colored mechanics and have 0 gold cards in it. That would actually be something kind of interesting, because that would be a theme. And it would go along with drafting. In fact, I'm so sure that that's a really good idea in cards in need of reprints that I'm going to say that's probably what the next one is. I wouldn't be surprised. But they could pull anything. They're probably designing it right now. They could do high mana cost masters where it's focusing on every ramp card, because Birds of Paradise, certain like elves and stuff. What's that other one? That Exalted thing? Noble Hierarch, yeah. Even Elvish Mystic. They aren't exactly expensive, but you could throw all them in a set and then just a whole bunch of like 7, 8, 9 cost. Well, and then do like Scions and then do like Cryptolith Right and just like, Earthcraft and all this crap that's like drastically overpowered normally, but still people play with it because it's drastically overpowered. And then the whole draft scene would just be like ramping up into crazy crap. I'd play that, so it sounds like that's what they're doing. Like, those are some real potential examples of what they would do. And I'm just going to summarize what they said. It's just going to be, every format worth of cards that need reprints. Just if they're like, wow, this really needs a reprint. It was only printed once. It was printed 8 years ago and starting to creep up in price, or it's already out of control in price. We're going to throw it in. And then hopefully it matches the theme on top of that. Otherwise, it'll probably just be just whatever, throw it in, and nobody will really draft it unless they're looking for money. Now, they did say, okay, it's not like we're, never going to see a set focused on Modern again, because certain mechanics are played in Modern. So if the mechanic is, whatever, like Undying or something, that's something people play, right? I can think of like 2 cards that have that, either like Undying or like the other versions of it. Oh, Persist. So they could do an Undying Persist set, and, people would be saying, oh my God, it's Modern oriented, because, Finks and that Geralf's whatever. Messenger, I think it was. I should know, it's in my damn deck. Oh my God. But that'll just be more of a coincidence and just, where are the reprints most needed? And still, it won't be an all Modern set. So they'll throw in some Commander and some Legacy and Vintage cards in there. Now, this will never fix Legacy and Vintage because the reserve list destroyed those 2 formats, and it's getting worse and worse and worse every single day. The only thing fixing that is pros are showing up to actual legitimate tournaments with, $2 proxies that they got from China. Oh wait, did I just call them proxies? What am I, Etsy? Counterfeits is what they're called. Geez, even I'm falling for this nonsense. Oh my gosh. So that explains what they're doing for the future, but I have to focus on this part of the article because it shows how idiotically tone deaf some people at Wizards are. They do not know how to read their customer base. They don't know what the world is like outside of Tumblr and the pro players that they all, text each other and they're all buddy-buddy. And they don't know what real creators think of stuff because, Tolarian and people like him are going to candy coat it every time they talk to them. So what is the result? Here is what they had to say about Iconic Masters and basically why it sucked. So they said Iconic Master was their first swing at this new model, which is true, I guess. This is a case where I felt like the draft format was great, that is true, and most others I spoke with who played it agreed. Actually, honestly, Life Gain was kind of out of control, if I recall, but anyway. We executed well on that axis. Wonderful. Too bad that's, 5% tops of your market and the rest of the people are singles bulk openers. Oh, and card hoarding investor douchebags, but those don't hit the market. So anyway, let's see. However, I know there are other factors about the set that many of you did not find quite as great. I don't think that's the way I would phrase it. Many players felt like the cards inside weren't as exciting as they had originally hoped. Does he mean that to be a synonym for valuable? Because I care about the value of what I'm spending my valuable currency on. Okay, I care about returns. Maybe that's because I'm a reseller. I don't know. Like, would you buy it if the box EV was $50 and you're paying $240? Probably not. So I think that affects everybody. Anyway, let's see. The excitement, blah, 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 which is important to the collectors, the drafters, and those who like to do both. I don't know, maybe drafters like excitement and exciting cards, but I don't really know what he means by that. Anyway, the name was misleading as we intended for iconic to indicate iconic creatures, but especially coming up on our 25th anniversary, wow, could you spell it out more that and 25 are the same damn thing? It was widely interpreted by players to mean historically iconic cards. And looking at the list, by reality and by you guys, because that's what you put in the set. I mean, unless they mean like story and lore iconic, because I don't know, that's stretching a little bit, but like commonly played and popular at the time, yeah. The early preview at HasCon, while very cool for the people there, which was like nobody, a couple hundred, meant a lot of the excitement around the set had evaporated by the time it was released. No, that's not it at all. It was the value of the cards, because you guys gave it 78 days, if I'm not mistaken, for people to be like, oh, I have 4 of those, and send it into a buy list and just devalue the card straight to hell. If you leak the cards 2 weeks ahead of time, I mean, it takes about a week to like day one, okay, I submit a buy list, boom, and send it. It takes a week to ship there. Then they got to count them, put them back in stock, and look at how many they got, and then reprice them. By that time, the set's out. If you give people just short of 3 months, those cards aren't going to be worth a damn thing, because you're like, here, 3 months ahead of time, here's a list of cards that are about to go down in value. Go dig through your entire card collection and sell these off now. That is solely and exclusively what went wrong with Masters 25. Not a misinterpretation, not, oh, people didn't understand what was in it. People knew what was in it. You gave us a full damn list. Not, oh, it wasn't exciting. No, it's you gave people too damn long to devalue the cards. Also, it was a little bit light on value. They could have added like 2 more $50 cards. Also, was there even a land in that set at all? If there was, I don't remember what it was. Oh, I think Burn Willows was in there. Oh, boy. So this is where they start to get it right. They say, okay, the preview was cool, blah, blah, blah. The excitement evaporated by the time it released. And to top it all off, it was releasing at a very busy time of the year. If that's how you want to phrase it, more like in the middle of a bunch of crap that you're trying to shove down our throats because we have infinite money, apparently. I mean, have you ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon? You charge $80 at the door, they ain't going to spend any money in your park. Although I heard the new one has ATMs. And also, it was releasing right next to the highly anticipated Unstable. Yeah, 2 draft sets in a row, and that one's just like a throw away your money down the toilet thing unless you're going to sell the land. So that's just spent money. That's not like, oh, I could trade some of these away. It's like, you're buying it because of the lands, that's it. Or you're going to spend, $10-15 on a draft, and that's it, which is not a good way to sell like high amounts of boxes. So they're pretty much missing the mark on what went wrong with Iconic. I mean, unless they just wanted to give like 5 reasons and they know they're all BS except for one. So get this. I've read through pages and pages of feedback on the set and talked to countless stores and players about Iconic Masters, both in person and online. That's the thing. They don't know why it went wrong. You should know. You're the company. You know how distribution works. You know how pricing works. You know how the singles market is. You gave people too much time. If you can't identify that as the problem, then you're a bunch of idiots and you're probably going to do it again. Thank God I heard rumors that somebody leaked a little bit of a statement from the staff that said they're never going to give the previews out that early again. Allegedly, the rumor is it was like one dumbass at the company, so probably Mark Rosewater, that was like, no, let's do it at HasCon. I know that's super duper early, but people will just be more excited and then we'll be able to draft it at HasCon. Woo! And then people are like, fine, whatever. HasCon is boring and nobody wants to show up, so let's do that. And that single-handedly ruined the entire set. I feel like it would have been a lot more valuable on day one if they would have just leaked the cards 2 weeks at a time. So here's to Wizards probably doing it again, but hopefully not. Anyway, he says, I cannot stress enough that this is something I really truly care about. Yes, money and your job and your company staying in business, I don't think anybody would disagree. If you weren't happy with Iconic Masters, on behalf of the team, I would like to apologize. You want to apologize? Send me a check for $1,000. With everything we do in R&D, we're always learning from our experiences to make the next set as great as possible. I don't give a shit. I lost over $1,000 on Amonkhet. I lost over $1,000 on Ixalan. I need money is what I need. So send me a vast quantity of something with an EV of 500 plus if you want to make it up to me. I don't care how, quote, great the next set is or how anything about it really. I care about if it makes money because I'm not selling these for my health and for the fun of it, and I don't enjoy burning money. I especially don't enjoy rewarding Wizards with money, whether the set sells well or not, because I have to put in my pre-order before we see one single damn card in it. Do you really think that if people are like, wow, this set really just has no synergy, it's not very fun to draft, would that really take a dent out of the sales if they put a $500 EV on it? I mean, just have a crappy draft where your deck, nothing works and you can't cast anything, it's all off balance and nothing works together, and then you paid $15 to draft it and walk home with $40 worth of cards. I mean, what the hell's wrong with that? Screw the drafters, who cares? The drafters are not the ones buying the sets. Maybe they mean like home drafters or casual drafters or something. I really don't know. So no joke, like the next paragraph they say, Masters 25 is about to come out. This is the set full of exciting Iconic cards. So they're literally like, Iconic Masters wasn't Iconic Masters and we screwed it up, which is not really true. But this is the real Iconic Masters. Like, that's what they're saying. Like, what the hell? They're actually admitting it. This is Iconic Masters with everything fixed. Remember, everybody who knows this kind of thing is saying that they had approximately a month and a half to 2 months before they had to finalize Masters 25 and send it to the printers after Iconic came out. Okay, so Iconic came out, it sucked, it sold like crap, everybody was pissed, they read, quote, pages and pages of feedback from stores, players, everybody, and then they had time to fix it. This was not already finalized. It's not like, whoops, we'll get you with the next one. So they put money in this one, okay? Every analyst, every insider, everybody pretending or actually leaking information from Wizards, they're all saying this is going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. I would not normally pre-order something, but even today, knowing only 2 to 2.5 to 5.5 of the cards, something like that. Okay, that Phyrexian is fake, but I think it's actually in the set. I'll just throw that out there. But I would say go to your shop this Friday, F&M, and be like, can I put one on pre-order? Because there's just no way that this is going to not have valuable cards in it. No, it's impossible. They would single-handedly put stores out of business. Remember, this is coming off of Ixalan, Amonkhet, and Iconic, all of which were money-losing crap piles. You can only lose money for so long until you're out of money. The fact that they're going to lose potential income on the secondary market because maybe on eBay these will hit, $280 a box and you can't find them cheaper, which is cool because I'm paying about $127 a piece for them. Although I'm not allowed to, and I typically don't sell them online sealed. I don't know why I said typically. I never have had to, but I have sold them sealed locally. That's called the I give up time because I sell singles. I open boxes. That's what I do. But either way, whether you're opening them and getting a bunch of value out of them or selling them for a ton, the difference in price over, Wizards selling to the distributors for about, I'll say 70 to 90, somewhere in that range most likely. And then, everybody else making the difference the difference between that and what the customer pays at the end of the day, good. They need the money to stay in business, or you're not going to have any vendors left, Wizards. So they also gave a little bit of details here. They said, to clarify the theme for Masters 25, what you're going to see in the set precisely is a theme of nostalgia and history. So in other words, Iconic Masters. I mean, they're coming out and saying they were intended to be the same product, and Iconic was the first and this is the second. They're supposed to be the same and they're going to keep being the same, but I'm still going to make fun of it because it's an easy joke to make. We picked many cards, especially at common and uncommon. Let me stop you right there, Wizards, because I'm feeling like you don't quite understand what our complaint was. We lost money on Iconic Masters. We paid one amount for it and then sold it for a lower amount than that in some cases, or couldn't sell it at all. That was our problem with Iconic. Picking spicy, exciting, amazing, historically nostalgic, whatever the hell you want to say, cards and putting them in common and uncommon, I don't give a shit. That's not where the money is, and you already printed Mishra's Bauble, okay? There's nothing left. Okay, there's actually a couple, like 5+ uncommons, but still. I care about the rares and the mythics. That's it. That's all I care about, because that's going to sell packs. So anyway, they said the commons and uncommons should conjure up memories. Oh boy, so you're catering to the nostalgic old school players who are going to draft it and be like, oh, I remember this card. This card's awesome. Who cares? That does not move products. Drafters do not move products. The draftability and the nostalgia factor don't do shit to sell this. They do nothing. Okay, maybe this will suck. Maybe this will be a garbage product. I don't know. Kind of sounds like it now. So I know playing with some of these cards again simultaneously gave me flashbacks to sitting on my carpet at home casting unsleeved spells with my brother, building decks for my first Friday night Magic events. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if you could build a deck instead of just copying one off the internet? Wasn't that better back in the day? All the way through competing onto the Pro Tour. No matter how long you've been playing Magic, you'll find cards to remember here. Well, yeah, because it's the 25th anniversary, and you literally said that one card is going to come from every major set release. So, yeah. But put some money in it, okay? If you want to sell it, put valuable cards in the set. The expected value average return of a box is the one and only factor I personally give a crap about, and I'm the person buying most of your products. Then they went completely off the rails and said, if I had to pick a Magic set that best showcased our 25-year history to put into a box and bury in a time capsule for humanity or aliens to discover 25,000 years from now, this would be the one. Yes, I read that verbatim. It sounds like something I would make up, but it isn't. Okay, well, none of that assures me that you're going to put money in it, so now you got me scared. But this, everybody at Wizards had to have been like, we have to put value in this. We have to. That is what is going to sell packs. So look forward to hopefully that happening, but either way, no more Eternal Masters, no more Modern Masters. They're not calling them that. They're going to call them something else. It's not disclosed what it's going to be. I'm not even sure that they've decided at this point, but they're probably, with what I shared earlier, going to logically print 2 or more Master sets per year and just keep doing it to keep the game affordable. So if you have a big binder worth thousands of dollars, sell every damn card in it that you're not going to use in the next year. There, now that I warned you, I gave you all fair warning, you are not allowed to bitch about it when your whole binder gets devalued to hell because they will reprint everything aggressively. Like, it'll be whack-a-mole with prices. The second the mole pops up and it's above $20, whack! So if you don't want your trade binder to get whacked, or your private card collection that's not in a trade binder, because why the hell would you walk around with that much money? That's just asking to get it stolen out of your car. Sell them off. This is the peak popularity of just about every format. Maybe even last year or year before was. Modern is kind of fixed-ish and pretty healthy. It's actually at least changing now. We'll see what it eventually settles into, but it's giving the false appearance of being a high variety format right now until people settle into what the new, top 5 are, and then it's just that. And don't pretend that's not what's happening. That is what's happening. So yeah, now's a good time to sell your crap. Fair warning. So that's everything you need to know about Masters. Just wait for the next video. It is going to blow your freaking mind because this took me and another LGS owner in the area by surprise. He sent it to me. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, what is this? Oh my God, that should be the title of the next video. Is this a joke? What is this? So hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss that, because this is going to get weird, okay? Really weird. You know how they're making a Magic MOBA and it's going to be mobile only? Weirder. It's a new product announcement, and I'm not going to spoil it. So watch for that, and I'll see you guys next video.